Hello, Liz.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and I'm a behavioral health intervention specialist here at the University of Missouri Healthcare System. I was calling to meet with you today by your physician. I unfortunately heard that you recently received a really tough diagnosis.
Yeah, I've been diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear about that. I know that's definitely something that's very hard to hear, especially, at such a young age.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, whenever someone sees a diagnosis that severe, I'm called in just to, assess a few things. Here at the University of Missouri Healthcare Center, we really utilize a holistic approach. So we can understand that sometimes physical health diagnosis can have some type of impact on your mental health and emotional health. So we just want to, just want to ask you a few questions and see how everything's going.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. So for the first couple of questions I'm going to ask you, it's going to ask you a couple of things about your mood and how you've been feeling over the past 2 weeks. The options will be 0 for not at all, 1 for several days, 2 for more than half the days, and 3 for nearly every day.
Okay.
And if you need me to repeat that at all, just let me know.
Okay.
Okay, so over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by little interest or pleasure in doing things?
I would say a 2.
2. Over the past 2 weeks, how often have you felt down, depressed, or hopeless?
I would say 3.
3. Over the past 2 weeks, how often have you experienced trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or maybe even sleeping too much?
2.
Over the past 2 weeks, how often have you felt tired or maybe saw that you didn't have really a lot of energy?
3.
About a 3.
Yeah.
What about poor appetite or overeating?
3.
3. What about feeling bad about yourself or that you're a failure or have let yourself or your family down?
1.
About a 1. What about trouble concentrating on things such as reading the newspaper or watching television?
I would say a 2.
About a 2. What about moving or speaking so slowly that other people could have noticed, or the opposite, being so fidgety or restless that you've been like moving around a lot and other people are taking notice?
I would say a 2.
A 2. And lastly, what about, the second and last, what about thoughts that you would be better off dead or hurting yourself?
I would say a 2.
About a 2. And how difficult would you say these problems have made it for you to do things such as go to work, take care of yourself, hang out with friends? What about between not difficult at all, somewhat difficult, very difficult, and extremely difficult?
I would say very difficult. The chemo's really worn me out.
Okay. That's definitely understandable. Like I said, that's definitely a tough situation. But you really do have a strong team of support behind you, so we're here for you along the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I did notice that when we were assessing here, I mentioned that thoughts that you would be better off dead or hurting yourself, and you said that you were experiencing that more than half the days.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of pain, and the chemo is just wearing me out, like I said before. So sometimes I think that it's better if I would just die already than experience so much pain and go through this and make my family and friends go through it as well.
Alrighty. So kind of like a lot of pain and then kind of sort of some feeling like you're a burden.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. How often would you say you experience such thoughts?
I would say a couple times a week. Definitely when I am getting the chemo treatments, they're just excruciating. The sleep is a really difficult thing for me, so I'm just getting restless with it. So I would say about half the time.
Half the time. And when you experience those thoughts, those are really intense thoughts, how long do you notice that they last?
Um, I would say a couple hours. I definitely think that my family can notice when I get really down about it. So they really try to support me as much as I can, just like you said. I have a lot of support, but it's just exhausting, and I don't want to put them through all of this grief either.
Okay. Have you ever had thoughts or attempts of committing suicide in the past?
Um, in the past, when I was going through some stuff, and I thought about it, but I never went through with anything.
Okay. How intense were the thoughts? Like, did you actually come up with a plan, or were they just like thoughts that came into your mind and went? Can you tell me a little bit?
I came up with a plan. I wrote a note, but that's about as far as it's gone. I never really thought about how I would do it. I just kind of wrote a note and said that that's how I would leave it. So, but I never took part. I never did anything about it.
Have there been any recent incidents with any plans or?
No, my focus has really been on my treatment and this diagnosis. So that's where my mind has been. But it has been really hard for me to um, think of the future.
Okay. That's definitely understandable. Like I said, with such a hard diagnosis and at such a young age, I can definitely understand why you're, experiencing such thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
In the past or like recently, have you, with everything going on in the past and then now recent, have you experienced any like type of diagnoses by a mental health professional or doctor?
I was diagnosed with depression when my parents divorced, and it gave me a lot of anxiety as well. So I've been dealing with that. So other than that, nothing really. Not really. That's just the only things.
Okay. Are you currently taking any prescriptions or anything for such diagnosis?
No.
Okay. And I know you mentioned your family. Has anyone in your family had any attempts or completed, taking their lives in their history?
No, no one's done that. No history. Not that I know of. No plans have been made by any of my other family members.
Okay. So on a scale from 0 to 10, when you think about actually taking your life actively right now, what would you rate yourself?
Probably a 3, just because I know that my family is here supporting me, and after all that we've already gone through, I don't want to just give up on them. They're really my motivation right now. But it is really hard with the chemo and with this diagnosis. So I don't think that I'm thinking about it as much with their help.
Okay, so you would say your family is definitely something, like a support system, kind of like something that you look forward to kind of keep you alive.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Okay. And would you say there's any internal factors that kind of help build that resilience as well, or is it just primarily family support?
I think that I just want to fight this, and I want to make it through to the other side. I want a future. Like I said, it's hard for me to picture it right now with all the diagnosis and treatments going on, but I really do want to see a future for myself. I want to continue living and, eventually have my own, like, a family of my own. So that's really another driving force for me as well.
Okay, that's very inspirational. Despite this hard situation that you're going through, you really have that strength that I don't often see a lot. So you should definitely be like really proud of that.
Thank you.
And I know your family's pretty proud of you too.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions that I had for you today. Just based on my clinical judgment, I just right now just want to plan a follow-up at this time. But if you notice between now and our follow-up that you're noticing that those feelings are becoming more intense or coming up more often, feel free to call your physician and he'll get in contact with me and we can set up an appointment earlier and just make sure, that you remain safe despite this hard situation that you're going through.
Okay, thank you. I will.
You're welcome. Did you have any other questions for me?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you. It was nice meeting with you.
You too. Thank you.